Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Game 2 of Seraphic Nexus vs. Don't Leave Ooze in defense of the Australians round of 32, Day 2. I, as always, am joined by Xerath. Xerath, how are you today?
I'm quite hot. This room is getting very, very warm.
Tell me about it. I'm still slightly melting. I kind of feel like I'm sugar, except I'm not as delicious, fortunately.
Yep.
That last game, that was a very nice turnaround coming from Seraphic Nexus. They didn't crack under pressure. They didn't go, we need to try and get as much farm and just split up all over the map and start getting picked off by Don't Leave Ooze. They waited for Don't Leave Ooze to make those few vital mistakes, which was over-aggression. They dived underneath tier 2 towers in 2 fights, and those 2 fights, Seraphic Nexus capitalized. That Weaver picked up as many kills as he possibly could. As you pointed out, he sat back and he just found kills. He just kept finding kills, and I believe he ended up on about 13 for 0 at the end of that game. It was marvelous. That Weaver played his heart out in that game, and they pulled back the game and they took the victory.
Yeah, I gotta give it up to Don't Leave Ooze as well. Those smoke ganks were just simply amazing. The supports did exactly what they should have been doing. Unfortunately, as you said, some of the engagements were just a bit too far, a bit too over-aggressive, and Seraphic Nexus were able to pull it back in their hands. But we'll see how this game plays out. We already see that Altine has been banned, a smart ban considering how well Seraphic Nexus played in the last game. We do have an IO pickup here on Don't Leave Ooze. I'm quite curious to see what they combine with this, but Darkseer and Weaver picked up by Seraphic Nexus. Weaver worked out so well for them last game, as you mentioned, and Darkseer also just amazing hero for those team fights.
Hope we see an Io Jakiro combination. Oh, well, there goes my dreams. Yeah. Well, we got the Rubik.
Especially since they got Darkseer.
Yeah, Rubik is fantastic. I'm suspecting Seraphic Nexus to pick up that Darkseer once again because it worked out so well. I believe, were they running it? Yeah, they were. No, they weren't. They were running.
No, they were.
Oh.
Don't Leave Ooze were running the Darkseer. They had the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, that's right. I've completely lost it. You talk for a bit. I'm just gonna recap and wonder in my.
Your brain has melted. Yeah, but I mean, they've actually banned out the Nature's Prophet this time around, which isn't too surprising. They've already got their offlane hero. They don't want that Nature's Prophet to be picked up by the enemy, especially since there's an IO already on the field. Malamba played that Nature's Prophet last game phenomenally. You know, it was pushing lanes. They got a tower within the first 2.5, 3 minutes, which is just great for Weaver, who actually played a very greedy style as well, again, an early Midas. But yeah, I mean, this so far looks some good picks and bans from both sides. Nyx Assassin gets banned by Don't Leave Ooze. I quite like that, considering Seraphic Nexus, that Nyx Assassin worked out quite well for them last game. He was able to roam around, get a lot of those familiar kills, as you mentioned earlier, and also that Impale, some of those key stuns happened throughout the game. But yeah, we'll see exactly what Seraphic Nexus decide to go with that Darkseer pickup. Maybe they're thinking of something a little bit more. There we go. I was about to say that they're thinking of something a little bit more AoE styled with an Outlaw Devour. That Sandy's Eclipse can, especially for Darkseer Vacuum, dish out so much damage. Don't Leave Ooze, pick up a Razor to counteract that. Nothing too surprising there.
And it all comes down to, however, with that Outlaw Devour, your early game farm. And if your Io and your Rubik, they rotate around, they help your Razor find a kill or two on that OD, he's gonna hurt, and he's gonna hurt badly. He'll be bleeding throughout the game because you need that early farm, you need those early items. Whether that be your Force stuff, or if you're lucky enough to go towards your Scythe, maybe even a mechanism to help you keep tanking and pop off those extra Essence Aura procs. But it comes down to the OD's farm. Weaver, we saw in the last game, he can carry the game, he can take it late, and he can win it for Seraphic Nexus. But in this mid game, if your OD is doing fantastic, you'll have that stronger mid to late game presence. However, if that IO Rubik do some nice rotations, or Razor can take advantage and find solo kills, and that OD gets shut down, Razor's going to be strong, Io and Rubik are going to hit fast level 6s, and they're going to have their ultimates up, and when they have their ultimates up, they're at their fullest potentials. Once they hit level 6, that's what I feel as if those two heroes are the strongest in the game. One of the two strongest heroes that hit level 6 in terms of supports.
I mean, yeah, this Owl Devour, as you were saying before, if he can't get the early farm. I mean, we've seen Outward Devour picked up throughout the tournament so far, but he gets shut down a lot. And if he can get shut down a lot, then he can't do anything late game. He's a hero that really needs that early farm so he can get those important intelligence items. The only Ooze pick up a Phantom Assassin, which, I mean, we haven't seen much of Phantom Assassin, if at all, this tournament so far, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but Phantom Assassin is a hero I quite like. It's basically a hero that you only need one core item, which is BKB, and once you have that BKB, after that, I mean, you can just jump into team fights, especially a lineup like this where a lot of it is magic damage.
And Seraphic Nexus, they're going to be looking for their final safe part of their trialing their supports. Who would work really well in their current lineup? I mean, there's a Bane still left in the pool. You can use that Bane to try and shut down a little bit of that Razor. You have that Fiend's Grip, and that Fiend's Grip will also work very well in the Phantom Assassin, which usually one of your key abilities or key items on that Phantom Assassin is that BKB. You get a high damage output item, and you get a BKB, and that's your core set as that Phantom Assassin. Razor generally likes to pick up a BKB as well, because that allows him to absorb a lot of damage, avoid a lot of damage, and especially against the damaged lineup of Seraphic Nexus, Jakiro, OD, and that Darkseer, a BKB will work fantastic. So, do you think a Bane would work well into that situation, or do you think they should continue going down an AoE style lineup, maybe pick up the Lina or Leshrac, and continue for this high output burst lineup?
I gotta say, they're lacking a little bit in terms of those lockdowns. They do have an Owl Devour which you can follow up with an Ice Buff, but besides that, I mean, they don't have any real other stuns to keep heroes in place, you know, vacuum helps and whatnot, but at the same time, if Don't Leave Ooze just spread out wisely, as you said, if they get some early BKBs, I'm not sure how effective it would be. Seraphic Nexus, I don't know, a Bane will help, obviously, because Fiend's Grip goes through those BKBs, and locking down those carries for a little while, just so you can allow your team to maybe clean up any leftover supports and then focus on that main carry, which we saw a lot in the last game when they picked up the Bane. Generally, we saw them ignore the Alchemist until most of the supports were there to, you know, Jabba Wabba and their Weaver was just picking up in the backline and then focus on the Alchemist. But we'll see exactly. I think Bane, as you said, is a good choice, helps a little bit with then Feeble and Razor and even Phantom Assassin. But I don't know, we'll see what Seraphic Nexus plan to do.
Now that I think about it, one of the problems with picking up a Bane though, there is a Rubik on the other side, and you're very vulnerable once you're in that Fiend Script state. But they will pick up a Space Cow. This is intriguing.
Well,
Support Space
I
Cow.
like this. I don't care if this fails. I just want to see some Space Cow charges around the map.
I saw a Space Cow last night in European Dota. I think it was... Who picked it up? I think it was Team Asurus, I think their name was, and they had a Space Cow roaming around the map as a support. He picked up a mechanism, he picked up drums, he just went for all these aura kind of items, and it actually worked out quite well. It allowed them to roam, it allowed them to push, and it allowed Spirit Breaker to slowly transition into a semi-carry throughout the game after he had those support items, and he just wouldn't die.
Another good thing about Spirit Breaker is his stuns go through that BKB, he can charge up, even doesn't matter if the BKB, it still hits through him, ulti, still hits BKBs. Bounty Hunter here from Don't Leave Ooze. This is looking like a very greedy lineup from Don't Leave Ooze. You got a Bounty Hunter, you got Phantom Assassin, Razor and Io. That is looking very, very greedy.
I mean, it's at the same time, if Seraphic Nexus, they can try and they've got a kind of greedy lineup themselves. You have a Weaver, you have Spirit Breaker and OT. I mean, your Spirit Breaker and Weaver pretty much have to and are forced to lane together. And it will be given that Spirit Breaker that 4th position role, but it is a little bit greedy because if he just needs levels. He doesn't necessarily need that gold. But if he can't get these levels because he's a part of that tri lane, it's going to hurt him because he needs to hit level 6 for that Nether Strike. And if he hits that level 6 on the Nether Strike, each charge and Nether Strike will find kills no matter what. But that's the same as his Io. If Io hits level 6 first, those two will be roaming around the map. Him and that PA will be roaming around like there's no tomorrow. So, in my opinion, it comes down to which level 6 supports, which supports hit level 6 first. Blair.
Yep, and let's introduce the players and teams on the side of Seraphic Nexus. We do have their captain playing the Spirit Breaker, it will be Fallen. Strike is joining him on that Jakiro. We do have Jabba Wabba who's on that OD in the bottom lane, so they're not going to go OD mid, they're actually going to go Weaver mid, which is being played by Kim. And last but not least, we do have Malamba on that Darkseer, who looks like he's going to go for the jungle.
And on the side of Don't Leave Ooze, we have that captain will be on that IO radio, walking around in that jungle. You have his fellow support, CKY will be on that Rubik. You have Yuna will be played on that Phantom Assassin. Bounty Hunter will be played by Nerves in that offlane. And finally, Ooze will be, or DLO, will be ran in mid lane on that Razor.
The battle begins.
Oh wait, no, Ooze, I was correct the first time. What am I talking about?
Yes, he's got the same name, sort of like his team name.
I know, it took a while to tick in my head. I'm like, okay. But this is strange, Weaver running mid. How do you feel about this?
Well, it's certainly unusual. I sort of like it because we know that the problem with OD in mid is that Static Link works through the disruption, the Astral Imprisonment, sorry. But Weaver, very fast movement speed, can actually get out of range of that Static Link very quickly, and can also put a little bit of harass on there with the Shikuchi. Still does magic damage, doesn't rely on the right clicks, so I think it's actually not too bad of a choice.
And Jakira just warding off this Rubik, force him out of the way. He's not going to be able to do any of his shenanigans up on this cliff. He's just going to have to walk back and start stacking, which Io is already currently doing. Unfortunately, it's only a single stack. Hopefully, they can pull that second stack through and get some more XP from that Wildkin camp just to the side. Down in bottom lane, OD is having a little bit of a hard time trying to last hit under these towers. I mean, he's got 69 damage because he has stolen a lot from that Bounty Hunter. And Bounty Hunter's got next to no mana to his name. Fallen, he's trying to pull through his camps. Bounty Hunter just pulls that creep camp away, but luckily for Fallen, the creeps, they're working in his favour and they will walk into that next camp. And they're doing a lot of damage to this Bounty Hunter. Dual Breath comes off. Do they wish to try and chase him down? They do not have any sentries. Or actually, they do have sentries, but they do not wish to try and finish him as of yet. I feel as if they charged, they may have been able to find a kill.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that they did not engage on that. I mean, a sentry charge? I mean, he was still sitting about, 150 to 200 health, but I feel like they may have been able to get him there.
Especially with that Jakira's Dual Breath coming off cooldown. I mean, it's a pretty short cooldown, it's only 10 seconds, and he did land it, so there was a slow currently up on that Bounty Hunter. If they got the charge through, that would have been one stun. Your Bash would have been another stun if you could luckily get that off, and you would have, I would say, more likely than find a kill, but nothing too bad's going to happen. They're going to throw a sentry down in that lane, make sure Bounty Hunter can't find anything else. I'm a little bit surprised he did decide to pick up the Shuriken Toss instead of going for the usual Janata. Janata helps you last hit, and just a little bit more harassment in these lanes. But he's sitting at the tower, he should pick up a little bit more XP. I don't think he'll level 3 off this creep wave though.
Well, the thing about Shuriken Toss is if you're getting pressured really out of your lane, especially when the enemy has sentries, you can throw out your Janata. I mean, it's very expensive, but you can still throw it out to get some of those last hits. But the problem still is that Owl Devour is just going to drain your intelligence. So I'm a little bit skeptical on this. Sorry, on this Shuriken Toss compared to picking up a Janata. He is being just pushed out of the lane here though by Jabba Wabba.
And some nice jungling going on by this Io. They're going to pick up this Wildkin camp, so they did pull it through in mid lane. Akira, he's invisible, he's looking to set something up on the Razor, and Ooze, he's been taking a lot of damage so far this game, but we see a nice Ice Path timing. He's just got to be careful not to be too aggressive and not give away to Ooze that there is a twin-headed dragon just laying in wake, waiting to pull out that destruction. And Ooze, he's going to start being charged. We got the Spirit Breaker, Space Cows come flying through. Once he hits that charge, they know, they've seen the spawn, and there's an instant TP coming from that Rubik. Very nice timing, great warding. Defensive ward, making sure they can see everything going on. And Ooze gets hit by the Dual Breath, but that's all that's going to happen.
I didn't exactly say it there, but I think Bounty Hunter was in the jungle when Spirit Breaker was charging through, and that's what initially gave it away. The ward, of course, helped as well. But I believe, yeah, he was spotted by the Bounty Hunter there.
Top tower is under attack.
And now the top tier is taking a little bit of damage. PA is just hitting level 5, so she's getting ever so stronger. Once she can hit level 6 with those crits, she's going to hurt. Razor just taking a lot of damage from this Weaver. I'm surprised at how Kimmer Summer is just holding Ooze out of this lane at the moment. He's just chasing him around, absorbing all that damage from him. He's hitting for 100, and then Weaver's going to try and turn around, but Weaver's hitting for negative 15 damage. So he's not going to be able to do anything there as of yet. The top tower, it's taken a...
life back.
Top tower is taking a lot of damage. And actually, Io, he's being charged. Spirit Breaker's coming. TP coming from the Jakiro. They do switch off the tower attacks. He still takes one more auto attack though. And the Spirit Breaker, he's being charged. He's being pinked. They know something's going on. Will Io be able to get on out of here? He's popping that south. He's trying to get healed straight back up. Spirit Breaker, he should cancel this charge. And he does so in that river. And unfortunately, the tower was not denied.
Well, yeah. I was expecting that to be denied, especially if it was in that. Unfortunately, it's that scumbag catapult was able to get the last hit.
Hero catapult.
Yeah. I mean, this is looking very strange here from both sides. So I sort of spoke about how putting the Weaver in mid wasn't such a bad idea. We see that he's doing quite well against this Razor, sitting for 20 to 11 on Razors at 16 for 11. So a little bit ahead, but unfortunately the ganks from Seraphic Nexus haven't been quite successful. They've been spotted out a bit too early. The teleport there in top from Jakiro, he teleported very far back. It was very defensive compared to very aggressive, considering they were charging the IO. But yeah, I mean, who would you say currently has the advantage, or who should be able to grab a good advantage early on?
At the moment, the advantage I would say would be in Don't Leave Oozes. They've got the map vision, they've warded off a lot of attacks, and that sets the farm in both gold and XP of Seraphic Nexus behind. I mean, he's still only level 3. If you have a look at the hero levels, the supports so far are actually fairly even. I'm a little bit surprised about that. I thought Io and the Rubik had a little bit more time to farm up, but they're sitting on even. But I still give it to Don't Leave Oozes. Every time Fallen tries to charge someone, or anytime they try to do something, Don't Leave Ooze, they've watched it, they've seen the rotation, and they've correctly responded each and every time. And that makes Seraphic Nexus get hesitant. And if Seraphic Nexus get hesitant, you're not going to be using your Spirit Breaker to its fullest potential. And that just allows Don't Leave Ooze some more time to farm, more time to get their items and XP up. And once they hit that level 6, that's when we'll see Don't Leave Ooze to start to capitalize on their heroes.
Yep, and looks like they might even go for a push here in this bottom lane by Seraphic Nexus. They are trying to clear the creep wave as quickly as possible. There are two heroes here though. Rubik has come down to help out and pick up a little bit of experience as well for himself. Currently Bounty Hunter there, he is level 6. We should start seeing him maybe start roaming now. You know, once you get that track, you can start roaming into different lanes and get those track kill gold rolling and put your team in the advantage. I mean, if you just have a quick look at the gold graph, it is currently in Don't Leave Ooze's favor, but it's only about 500 gold, which is pretty much negligible. Experience is about 350, so this is a very even game so far for the first 7-8 minutes. No kills on the board yet.
And these two heroes in mid, they're not doing anything to each other other than just being an absolute pain. So far, the last hits, they're going in favor of the Weaver, but only by about 7 kills. And actually, they're starting to fight up. They're going in. The ultimate's popped. He's got to pop that timeless, and they're going to run. Both sides are going to retreat. And that's just basically been their entire game so far against each other. They come up, they man up against each other, and then they both just decide, it's not worth it. We just want to farm up a little bit more. Truce. And the courier will bring in those phase boots, so Razor's is going to be hitting a little bit harder. It's going to have that ability to try and keep up with that Weaver's movement speed. And now we've got a charge going on the Bounty Hunter. They're going down deep. They do not have a Never Strike available. They're going to hit him under the tier 2 tower. They're going to pop that dust. We got the Ice Puff. It's going to miss. The Sanity is clipped. Not being able to do too much. It does take him down 2/3 of the HP. But unfortunately, for Bounty Hunter, he's not going to worry too much. He's still going to stand his ground. He's going to throw out these tracks and help his team. And now here comes the sandwich. Here comes the wraparound. PA, she's here. She's got level 6. She's going to be critting. She will get put into that Astral Imprisonment. The first blood will go against that Space Cow. Rubik picks up a double kill. Now they're chasing down that Outlaw Devourer, and he's got nowhere to run. He's going to continue. He's going to walk past these trees, and Bounty Hunter, once he gets this track off, that is game over for this OD. If he can get that track off. But OD is a little bit too fast. He's got boots, his movement speed, but he walks back in the tower. There's the track, and that is going to be game for OD. Weaver, he's going to try and do whatever he can, but it's just not going to be enough against 4 heroes.
Yeah, Seraphic Nexus, it was a little bit unfortunate there for him because the Ice Path, it missed when they jumped there on the Bounty Hunter, and then instead of throwing the Astral first, they threw out the Sanity's Eclipse, which meant the OD didn't have as much intelligence to for him to steal, it does less damage. I don't think it still would have been enough to kill that bounty hunter, unless they did land an ice path, maybe.
And
This
there's the
Weaver's
lift in
been
mid lane. They're going to try and jump him in, but he just time lapses out. It does force out that time lapse, and time lapse at level 1 is quite expensive, 150 mana, so it's going to force Weaver to bottle up a few if he wants to save up for a little bit. And now, Io, level 6, they're getting ready to relocate, but do they have any aggressive wards? They've got one kind of aggressive ward in the rune spot, they don't have any in the jungle, and they have a moderately neutral ward down in the bottom river, but this Razor, he's trying to bait this Weaver into him. Bounty Hunter's here. Bounty Hunter's waiting in the mist. He's going to go in. He's going to be looking for that kill on the Weaver. And this is where they're going to decide to attack. They're coming in. There's the track. He doesn't have time lapse. He does have Sakuchi TP support coming in from that Shakira. That will ward off the damage from DLRO. And they're just going to have to sit back a little bit. I'm a little bit surprised the relocate didn't come in. If they came in, they would have found an easy kill.
Yeah, I mean, this... You just spoke a moment ago about how Io was level 6. I'm quite curious to see exactly how this starts these ganks from the Io and Phantom Assassin. It's not a combination that you see a lot. Generally, you see that CK, the Tiny, or maybe a Sen or something like that. Something that can jump in, has a reliable stun. But at the same time, you know, this helps the Phantom Assassin Yuna because of the extra attack speed that it gets, get a lot more of those crits off. So we'll see exactly how it works out, but in terms of jumping out from nowhere, they should still get the turbocharge.
And now they're going to fight in the middle. There's going to be Astral Imprisonments going out on both sides. Swarm comes through. TP spot coming in from that Bounty Hunter. We will see that relocate gain. There they come in. They just dodged that Sending Eclipse. Sending Eclipse is not going to be able to kill that Razor. Razor will walk away. And they will find that OD and they will get out safely. Relocate back up to top lane to continue farming.
Yep, I mean... Two sentries also popped there right next to each other, but nonetheless they got a good kill there. None of their heroes died despite the Sanity's Eclipse. It looks like Seraphic Nexus, they just want to keep pushing onto this tower though. I don't think they'll be able to grab it here, they will have to back off. But currently Don't Leave Ooze just playing so well in these first 10 minutes. Really shutting down the aggression that, well, Seraphic Nexus is trying to do. They've attempted it multiple times now, but so far no success.
Unfortunately, this Space Cow, he's starved as a support at the moment. I mean, he's got boots and some consumables. He only has 11 creep kills up on his name. I mean, that's what you expect from a support, but when you go for a greedy support such as Spirit Breaker, you just want a little bit more out of your hero, and unfortunately, he hasn't been able to find that due to the aggressive and great positioning coming out from Don't Leave Ooze.
Yeah, he's actually got the teleport on the top. Looks like they may want to charge something up there. Currently, Phantom Assassin sitting on relatively low health, only sitting at about 300.
Dire's top tower
Still, you know, can be fairly weak to a lot of those magic spells as... Oh, we missed that there in the mid lane.
They find another kill on that Weaver. Weaver didn't even get time. Time's up top lane. There is a charge. It does land onto PA. It still doesn't have enough mana for that Nether Strike, and he's going to get relocated out. So now they're going to try and turn it back around. They're all coming back in, and now... Razor, he's on the hunt. He's not going to be able to find anyone. He doesn't have the movement speed as that aura of Spirit Breaker, which is not leveled up, is helping him out. So, good old non-leveled aura. But it's unfortunate. They lost the hero in mid, and they weren't able to find anything up top from good counter initiation coming out from DLO.
Yeah, the relocate saving that. Well, actually, it was mostly the lack of mana that saved that PA. If Spirit Breaker had enough mana for his Nether Strike, I'd say that would have been a kill on PA.
Now, they're looking to push this tier 2 tower. They don't have any massive abilities, such as Seraphic Nexus, such as the Sanity's Eclipse, the Vacuum, the Wall, and actually there's a little stunt onto the Weaver. They're going to try and turn him. He's going to have to instantly time-lapse out of there. That's a time-lapse wasted for the next minute. And if DLO wants to, they can continue to force the aggression. Because as I was saying, Seraphic Nexus, they have these massive cooldown timings, and if after they pop it all and you come out victorious, keep pushing, because Seraphic Nexus, they're not going to be able to do anything in the meanwhile.
Yep, in fact, they might scout this OD. Will they try to engage on him?
Dire's bottom tower is under
Let's just Bounty Hunter by himself though.
He's been charged, they know where he is, and there is some revelation up on that Space Cow. Space Cow's coming in, he's coming at full charge. He will land onto that Bounty Hunter. He does have enough for Nether Strike. He will pop that dust, and now we could see the death. Actually, the Astral Imprisonment, a little bit of miscommunication coming on the side of Seraphic Nexus, and now they are on the run. Ooze sapping all that health. He's hitting for over 300 damage, and now the Wisp relocate with that PA. PA's just ripping through the side. He's turning towards Strike, who's been tracked up and taken a lot of damage, cancel TP, relocate goes back home, and it just leaves these two heroes to fend for themselves. Ice Path thrown out just in case of those heroes are still invisible. But once again, a little bit of miscommunication coming up by Seraphic Nexus there, and DLO, they capitalized, they turned it around, and they found themselves a kill. They found themselves 2 kills actually from that relocate back to top lane.
Yeah, that's just really unfortunate there. His first ever strike of the game, and unfortunately, he gets denied.
And it was by his own teammate. That's harsh.
Yeah, I mean, and OD didn't even get to pop his ulti there. He got stun locked. Well, yeah, pretty much got stun locked there in the jungle area. By pretty much everyone. Everyone after that relocate game, I believe.
Nice Ice Path onto the Rubik. Rubik gets hit by. He's been charged. He's getting hit by the Jewel Breath, and they will find their first of the kill of the game. Will we see the Nether Strike? Once again, doesn't have the mana for it. A little bit unfortunate. It seems like the Spirit Breaker. He needs to pick up a wand, I would say, at best.
Yeah, or at the very least, the drums. It does give you a little bit extra mana with the help of the Robo Magi that you used to build it with. But I mean, it's twice now that he hasn't had enough mana for Navish.
And now we've got initiation. We have the TP and relocate coming in. There's 3 heroes out of nowhere. They're going to take this fight. Raze is going to be sapping all that damage. He only grabbed 80 damage this time, but that 80 damage is enough to take down that Space Cow. And now PA, he will fall to the OD and the Sanity Clips with the auto attacks. They will get the Ice Path off, and the IO will get relocated back home with 5 to 10 HP. And now Rubik's in a lot of trouble. He's been slowed down by the Jewel Breath and that Liquid Fire, but he's on out of there. Bounty Hunter is also on the run. So far, it's a 1-for-2 trade in favor of DLO, but it's still fighting. Darkseid manages to find the Rubik, and now they're still trying to fight it, but they need to back off Seraphic Nexus. I mean, that's Razor. He's very scary still. But actually, the charge coming in by that Spirit Breaker, but he should just cancel it. But by the looks of it, DLO, I think they came out on top, but they did get the kill on the PA, and their Weaver did survive. So it was a fairly even trade, and they also did get that tier 1 mid tower. What do you feel about that fight?
I think Seraphic Nexus actually came out slightly ahead in terms of kills. I believe they grabbed 3 there, where DLO only grabbed 2, and they also lost the tower. We'll just look at the gold graph, and we do see it spike back up into Seraphic Nexus. Well, it's not their favor, but it's certainly back closer to that neutral point. Experience is still far behind, and that's, you know, just because the supports of Seraphic Nexus haven't been able to create too many opportunities and kills. DLO is still 6 kills ahead. They're still doing very, very well. This PA is getting farmed, almost has the BKB going. But once again, that Weaver did so much damage in that fight. The Weaver worked wonders for them last game, and in that engagement also worked wonders for him there.
Down at bottom, there's going to be initiation. The relocate coming in. They're going to be looking. The Spirit Breaker, he charges in. He's not going to be able to hit. There's a nice Shadow Walk. Now they're going on top of the OD. OD's taking a lot of damage, but he pops. He gets healed from the mysterious source. He gets healed from that Darkseid mechanism. Now they're turning. Bounty Hunter, he's in a lot of trouble. He's got 2 dust on him. He's not getting away. And now Darkseid, he's got to chase down this Ruby. He's got a Surge if he needs to use it on any of his heroes. He pops the Iron Shell. He should pop the Surge as well. He's not going to pop it. Weaver will still continue to chase. And he's got the ability to chase. He's got a time-ups. He gets Nether Striked by that Rubik. Rubik also picks him up. He's going to be looking for a kill, but he almost gets picked off. And nice pull back down onto that Darkseid. Stops that vacuum from being pulled away. And now Rubik will get on out of there. So nice. He didn't panic. He popped off his skills correctly, and he will get away for his troubles.
Yeah, he popped an Never Strike and then slow Shikuchi and just got on out of there. Very smart plays there by the Rubik.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They will lose the tier 2 tower though. That's a good pickup for Seraphic Nexus. It's one they need, but however at the top lane looks like DLO might want to try and grab a tier 2 of their own. We do see some pings, so might see a teleport coming, or a few teleports coming very soon.
Yeah.
There's a charge.
Unfortunately, all the teleports weren't on any of those heroes down at bottom lane, so they all had to walk to the outpost to pick up their teleports. But now, as you said, charges coming in, all heroes rotating up top, everyone's TPing in, they're trying to turn this back around, and now Space Cow, he's out in the middle of nowhere. He will get back to his creeps, and there comes a Blinken, very, very aggressive Blinken. Ice Puff is going to miss because a little bit of miscommunication once again. The Astral Imprisonment saving that Ice Puff, sending Eclipse, misses on all heroes, not going to do any damage. Razor, however, still manages to fall in the background, vacuum back into into the heroes. There's the Ice Puff. That Ice Puff will have. Darkseid picks up a double kill. 3 heroes are now down for DLO. Seraphic Nexus turning this game back around once again. And this Weaver, he's starting to pick up some more kills. Rubik, will he be spotted in this jungle? He steals a spell. He picks up the Sakuchi. They know he's there, but they're not going to worry. He's going to Sakuchi out of there. So that's a little bit ballsy by that Rubik.
Very ballsy by that Rubik. I mean, he had a TP, but he was just like, oh, I guess it... No, he would have had the mana because he's been popping Shikuchi. But instead he's just like, nah, I want a Shikuchi, and then I want to get out.
I mean, if he'd picked up Swarm, though, I think that probably could have been GG for him if Seraphic Nexus wanted to turn around against him. I mean, that would have just been unfortunate. Picking up a Swarm in that situation, just sitting there with a Swarm thinking, oh, great.
Yeah, if he picked up Swarm, will reveal his location, obviously.
And now top lane, there's another initiation. The Astral Imprisonment will do. We don't have any big ultimates up for Seraphic Nexus. Can DLO capitalize on this? Ooze doing a lot of damage, but Io, he will instantly fall. PA's on the run, Bounty Hunter's on the run, and Razor's already out of there. Will we see an Ice Puff? No, they will split up. Ice Puff, however, just misses on the Razor. Vacuum just misses on the Razor. All the spells missing on this Razor. He's still got a BKB up. It's 10 seconds. It's fresh. He can go in here at any moment, but he doesn't have the rest of his team. He needs those 2 supports if he wants to be able to do anything. He gets hit by the Ice Puff. A little dagger coming through by the Phantom Assassin. Astral Imprisonment out onto this Razor. They might go on him very shortly. There is another strike up on Fallen. Fallen is not going to use it. Seraphic Nexus, they're going to decide to retreat out of here, and that's a wise decision.
Yeah, I do agree there. I mean, if they stay, they were no creeps, so they were taking just the full tower damage. They would have had to, well, if they stayed there, they would have been taking so much damage from just the eventual ticks, and DLO's heroes were at that point starting to respawn. They could have tried to re-engage and start turning it around back into their favor. But currently Seraphic Nexus, I mean, we saw them come back last game. It looks like they're going to do the same this game. I mean, they were certainly behind, but now it's swung back into their favor quite heavily. 7.5k gold lead, in terms of experience, it's 2.5k. So this is looking good for them.
And I just think it was just one of the big problems about DLO was they didn't get to capitalize on that early Wisp. He had level 6, they didn't go mid, they didn't find that kill early on that Weaver. Then they had a level 6, they didn't try and capitalize kills around the map. They don't have aggressive wards, they have a neutral ward that did see the rotation into the Rosh Pit, so they know something's going on there, but can they fight it is another question. At the moment, they can't fight underneath their tier 2 towers. Razor's going to scout this out, they know something's going on, but he can't do anything. He's just going to back. They will get a tier 1 tower for it, but that's a Roshan, that's an Aegis, and that's going to be a OD that's not going to die next fight.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, considering how they've played this, I'm not too surprised that the OD picks up. He was also been picked off a few times a bit too early before he's going to sign his Eclipse off. I'd just like to say though, he has no intelligence items whatsoever, which is very interesting. He's gone for a BKB, a Midas, and that's pretty much it. He's got his boots at this point, but so far no intelligence items at 23 minutes into the game. Very interesting.
Very interesting, and I would kind of call it a little bit of a misplay, because at the moment, whenever a Center Eclipse does clip someone, it does no damage, it just burns mana, and you need that damage in that team fight. They're winning these fights without the Center Eclipse. That just shows you they're a little bit further ahead in these items and a little bit further ahead of these golds. They do have a little bit of miscommunication going on time, but DLO, they just haven't been able to capitalize so far. This Razor, he hasn't been able to absorb the damage and then take these fights one-on-one or against any of these heroes. He gets picked off, he loses his static link, and gets no damage available to him. But now, the aggression is coming up. He gets instantly into that Astral Imprisonment. Now we got PA. PA jumps in, crits all around. Jakiro will instantly fall. Not before throwing down that Ice Puff. He gets a nice Nether Strike, comes flying off. It will find a kill. Darkseid picks off the Rubik at the same time. That's 2 heroes currently dead for the DLO. They're still fighting underneath this tier 3 tower. OD. It reads not Astral. He's Aegis will go down, and at least the PA and Razor, they're still alive, they're still here to defend. It is 4v3, but luckily they're still the key heroes of DLO are still up and running. But at the same time, Seraphic Nexus, they still have their key heroes, and they're going to be looking to barrel down this tier 3 tower and these racks.
Yeah, they've popped all their big ultimates though, such as the wall and of course the Santa's Eclipse. But it looks like it might not even matter at this point.
And PA aggressively jumps in and gets instantly astraled. And now they're going to try and run. Will Razor be able to find that kill on Darkseid? He's too strong. The dagger does hit him, but he pops that mechanism and he's out of there. Nice defensive Ice Path to try and limit their escape. Io jumps in with no help from his teammates, and he's just going to be fresh meat the side of Seraphic Nexus. A little bit of miscommunication now, once again, from that charge in Astral Imprisonment, and then the blink comes out by the PA. PA is going to escape because of that Astral Imprisonment. Rubik, however, will die, and we got a nice vacuum coming in from the Darkseer. Astral Imprisonment once again going out onto that Rubik. Rubik's going to land in that Ice Path. Oh, that's actually the PA. The PA will fall, and now that's your key heroes dead. They can't fight this. This should be a tower. Actually, speaking of can't fight it, Razor, he's manning up. He's only doing 110 damage, but he was enough to pick off that outward Devourer. And Seraphic Nexus, they want this Rex, but they can't find it as of yet. We've been in a fight for 2.5 minutes and they just haven't been able to grab it. And now Ooze, he's coming back in. He gets hit by that Ice Path. The Rex will fall. The Swarm doing a lot of negative armor on top of that Razor, but it is being saved by Radio. Radio is giving him that damage mitigation and attack speed, and he will get home the base. But they found Rax, they found kills, and now they safely retreat.
Wow, what a long engagement. I mean, it was just very back and forth there. For a second, it looked like Fallen gets stuck in the trees, charging a range creep.
Poor Space Cow. He's now just been herded in between the trees.
It hasn't been his game, has it? I mean, his allies have denied him his never strikes like what, 2-3 times now?
And he's just...
But yeah, that
there we go.
in mid for the Rax. For a second I thought I was like, that creep might die too quickly before he actually gets the charge.
Pops it, dies, he's still stuck in there for another 24 seconds to actually relocate game. Can they find the Spirit Breaker? This is definitely not Spirit Breaker's game right now. If PA can manage to pick up this kill, this will be a vital kill. There's the Tether Stun, there's the auto attacks, and there goes Fallen. Space Cow is now absolutely demolished. He's back in space. So, definitely not Fallen's game so far.
Tree is definitely OP. So yeah, it took him so long to Rax mid there, and yeah, DLA defended really well, except for Io, who actually jumped way too far ahead. No allies, pretty much came back alive, relocated way too far, and died again. So he was pretty much nowhere to be found in that entire engagement. He died early on, and when he came back, he wasn't able to really help out too much. But DLA defended for very long. We saw Razor man up and go just right in there, dish out a ton of damage. Looks like he wants his Aegis, oh, sorry, not his Aegis, his Agony was next. He's picked up that point booster, and once he has that, he's going to be dishing out quite a lot of damage from his ultimate, what's it called? Eye of the Storm, that's the one I'm looking for. But yeah, I mean, DLA, what do you reckon they should do here? We saw them get a pick off on Spirit Breaker in bottom. Should they continue doing that in order to try and come back into the game, or should they try focus on something else?
One of the harsh problems they're going to have now is there's an eye up on Jakiro, and Jakiro's been walking around the map completely clearing any vision DLO have. And before they had vision, they knew where all the heroes were. They knew there was heroes in the jungle, they knew there was heroes in mid and top lane. Now without any vision, Io, he's useless. He can't jump in with any hero, because if they jump in, there could be potentially 3 or 4 heroes waiting behind, baiting out possibly that Space Cow, because Space Cow just seems to be the kingpin target of this game so far. But now they don't have the ability to do that. This eye has negated all vision, and now they're going to push down the bottom lane. Bounty Hunter is going to be a little less useful because he's going to be easily picked up, especially on his health pool currently. He's picked up an Ogre Club. They'll give him a little bit of strength to try and survive a little bit longer, but that's about it. I'm not sure if they have drums currently up on their side. I'd like to... they do, actually. PA's got those drums, but this Bounty Hunter, he's squishy, and now if this eye's up and running, he's going to be easily taken down. What DLO have to do is what they've been doing so far. They have to wait for Seraphic Nexus. They have to sit back, let Seraphic Nexus come to them, let Seraphic Nexus coordination get the best of them. And now, Outward Devourer, he jumps in, he's going to Astral Imprison a person, Ice Puff comes out, it's going to land onto the Rubik, Rubik gets just bursted down, Ooze is trying to man-fight it up, Nether Strike comes, not Astral Spirit, the Sedative Eclipse does 0 damage once again because there's no int up on top of that OD, and now, he's on the run, he does get put into Astral Imprisonment, he gets relocated into nowhere. Yeah, he gets relocated out. The Razor will fall, however. There goes the Bounty Hunter. Buyback galore from that Razor and the Bounty Hunter. And now Seraphic Nexus. They didn't lose a single person in that fight. And now they're going to get tier 3. And I think this could be game number 2 unless DLO can do a fantastic, amazing pull around and then the Io comes in. Ooze has been burst down. Ooze, if he dies here, this could be the game, but he's gonna get out. Will he get out? No, he won't. He gets auto-attacked down. The Weaver. PA's trying to do whatever he can. She's gonna jump on out of there, and this is game. Seraphic Nexus should be able to take this and clean this up.
Yeah, I can't see them, particularly with a Razor down now. Wow. Very aggressive 4-star there by Jabber.
It was planned. I mean, look at that. Vacuum into that sexy, sexy ice path. And now, that's a team wipe. And they're just going to go back to the racks. And DLO, they do call the GG. Seraphic Nexus will be moving it on in defense of the Australians. They take a 2-game victory. And in a very comfortable behind fashion.
Yeah, I mean, they were behind in game number 1, came back, took it. I mean, in this game, they were down like a 7-kill deficit or something, and they still managed to come back and take it. This is... their game certainly was far from perfect as well. So, you know, Spirit Breaker, or I should say the comeback was far from perfect. Spirit Breaker had a lot of trouble, got denied a lot with his charges and both with his Never Strike, but it just didn't seem to matter. They just outplayed DLO here. Just like to say thank you guys very much for watching. I've been Zarf and been joined by Dota Yoshi. This has been Defense of the Australians. Seraphic Nexus will be moving on to the next round here. I'd just like to say thank you to Cubos for sponsoring the tournament. We'll be back with, I believe it's... I can't remember. Spectator will be covering Noxious Gaming with someone in about an hour's time. It's scheduled for 5 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Time. We'll keep you guys updated on the stream if there are any delays and things like that. Please stay tuned in.
It will be Noxious first beer, please. Just for a heads up.
Ah, that's right. It's beer, please. Thank you for that. Sometimes I just forget all these like team names.
Yeah,
that will be
that happens to me a lot, except that happens in-game to me.
Yeah, it will be on this stream as well, so you don't have to switch over to any streams. So yeah, just stay tuned. Thank you guys once again very much for watching, and we'll see you later.